Hello! Today we are going to make a Béarnaise sauce. Béarnaise is one of the sauces you can make from the mother sauce known as hollandaise. So basically it's a seasoned hollandaise. And the distinguishing factor for Béarnaise is that you add about 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar. You take a small shallot, in this case probably about almost 2.5 tablespoons of a shallot chopped up nice and fine. We're going to use about 1 tablespoon of tarragon at the end, but in our reduction we're going to use a full sprig plus the stems for what we use to finish the sauce off. About 1/2 teaspoon of black peppercorns. And for our hollandaise, we're going to have we're going to use 2 egg yolks and about 1.5 sticks of butter. So this really comes together very quickly. The first thing you have to do is actually make your reduction. And as we said, that's going to be our 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar. We're going to put our shallots in there. We're going to put in our peppercorns, our sprig and stems, and if you have a smaller pot, that's great, but I don't have a smaller one, so I'm just going to move that around. And we're going to reduce this till it comes down to about 1.5 tablespoons. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on a medium-low heat and keep an eye on it. Okay, so we've got this over a medium-high heat. You see it's coming to a boil fairly quickly. What we want it to do, I'm going to turn that down just a little bit because I want a lot of this to steep. And I want to get the flavor of the onion itself, the shallot, the peppercorn, and the tarragon into a concentration. So I'm going to move my pan and make sure that everything is cooking up nicely. All right, so you're gonna see it's gonna turn, to see how it's changed color from the shallot. So it's gonna change color a little, that's fine. It's not gonna ruin your dish in any way. It's not gonna turn anything pink. There's a lot of butter going into this, and there's some beautiful farm fresh eggs going into this that are really gonna lend it its color. But this is the distinguishing factor when it comes to flavor. So we're going to let this cook off, like I said, until it reduces down just a bit, and then we will put it all together. Okay, so our reduction is done. This is going to be the container we're actually going to make the hollandaise in. The way you choose your container is you make sure that the head of your immersion blender just barely fits. So it's just in there. There's not a lot of room to spare. And we do that so that we can get the right action, if you will. All right, so we're just going to pour this in. And we use the strainer to make sure everything is, all the solid pieces are kept out. All right, so that looks like plenty. All right, so we'll move that off to the side. So we've got our reduction. I've cracked my eggs. You can see I broke one of my yolks, but that's going to be fine. I have to melt my butter, and I'm going to do this in the microwave, and I'm going to do it in about 10-second bursts because I don't want it to actually splatter everywhere, but I need to have this melted so that we can make our emulsion. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that and come back with melted butter. But at this point, it's 3 things. We're going to put in our eggs, we're going to drizzle in our butter, and then we're ultimately going to finish it with our tarragon. Well, everything's ready. We got our butter all done. I'm going to put our handheld mixer here, and I'm going to drop our yolks in. And now, just very slowly, we're going to drizzle. without stopping. Oops, that was not slowly. But it'll come together. You'll see. Drizzling in our butter. You can hear the motor dealing with the butter as it comes in, how it changes its pitch. I'm just going to keep pouring it in. And at this point, I could probably put all of it in. I'm slowly lifting it up. And it feels super thick. Can you see that? All right, believe it or not, this is ready. So let me do a little cleanup and we'll plate up our steak so you can see how you use it. All right, so when you make your Béarnaise, you usually serve it with a really beautiful piece of prime steak, which is what we're going to do today. And that's a nice big piece of prime steak. We're going to serve it with some beautiful mashed potatoes. And we're going to put our sauce across our steak. You can always put more, you can always put it on the side. But that, my friends, when you try this, you're going to wonder where it's been all your life. Béarnaise sauce gets its unique flavor from the vinegar, the shallots, the peppers, but mostly from that tarragon. So try this because I think you're going to find that that is delicious.